we see a grand pharaonic procession, but this procession is not for an Egyptian pharaoh. Instead, it is for the oldest shapeshifter in the world, whose name is Apocalypse. This takes place in the year 3600 BC. We learn that he was a powerful ruler who governed with cruelty and enslavement, and no one knows how many years he lived. This is because whenever his body deteriorates, he takes over another person's body to continue living with the help of his 4 knights. This way, he achieves immortality. However, this time, they bring him a body with strange abilities that allow it to regenerate continuously by transferring consciousness. Not only that, but when Apocalypse acquires this extraordinary power, he also gains other limitless abilities. Here the rituals of copying begin. At this moment, the cloth at the top of the pyramid is removed, and through sunlight, the hieroglyphics at the top of the pyramid are activated. These letters melt and spread throughout the pyramid in a strange and mysterious manner. Apocalypse begins to transform, and at this point, he is very weak. The oppressed people take advantage of this opportunity and stage a coup. Even the soldiers side with the people, breaking the wooden beam holding the massive, heavy stones. A huge stone falls inside the pyramid's passageway. Inside the pyramid, other soldiers break walls and doors, attacking Apocalypse's assistants. We see that it is difficult for the soldiers to defeat Apocalypse's 4 knights. The first knight, who assists Apocalypse, has the ability to turn most soldiers into skeletal remains. The fire knight turns fire into fiery serpents, burning the rest of the soldiers. Meanwhile, the stones destroy the columns inside the pyramid, causing it to shake violently. The people outside fear for their lives and quickly flee from the pyramid. The pyramid is completely destroyed from the inside, and at this moment, large stones fall on Apocalypse. The third knight, the Plague Knight, saves him, lifting the stones with both hands. Unfortunately, the other assistants fail to save themselves. We see Apocalypse nearing his final transformation stage. He spots a soldier and leaps to kill him, but the fourth knight, the Death Knight, intervenes, using telekinesis to twist the soldier's body and throw him against the wall. The entire pyramid collapses from the outside, and the massive stone reaches the room where Apocalypse is. There, it destroys the main columns of the room and the entire pyramid. At this moment, the stone kills the Fire Knight, and both the Death Knight and Apocalypse fall. Once again, the knight uses telekinesis to quickly transfer the prepared armor to Apocalypse's body. Afterward, he falls onto the stone. At this moment, he uses all his strength to create a protective barrier around Apocalypse before dying. Thousands of years pass, and a group of Apocalypse's followers begins the rituals again. Sunlight shines on the top of the pyramid, reactivating the mysterious hieroglyphics. After 1,000 years of slumber, Apocalypse awakens once more to find himself trapped underground. He quickly gathers his strength, causing a massive explosion. Not long after, Apocalypse appears in the street, disguised. He realizes that Egypt has changed, including its people and buildings, since his reign. At this moment, we see a girl named Storm, nicknamed the Storm Girl, because of her extraordinary ability to create sandstorms with her eyes, which turn white. She steals items from market vendors, but Apocalypse spots her. The girl runs, chased by the vendors. She tries to escape, but Apocalypse uses his power again, causing the wall to consume her, leaving only a terrifying face behind. Storm is astonished and takes Apocalypse to her hiding place, asking her friends to leave. Apocalypse is surprised when he sees a television. He touches it, and the image and channels change. He realizes that many changes have occurred in the world over thousands of years since his reign, and that the world is now ruled by ordinary people. He becomes very angry upon seeing this and declares that he must bring the entire world back under his control. The first step is to gather his 4 knights. He extends his hand, declaring Storm as his first knight. She helps him search for the second knight, a girl named Basil, who has the extraordinary ability to turn her thoughts into weapons with just her mind. Apocalypse enhances Basil's mental power tenfold. Basil takes them to the third knight, a man named Angel, who has the ability to fly with wings. However, his wings are broken at this time. Apocalypse sees him and transforms his wings into metal. Not only that, but he also makes the feathers shoot as iron blades. Apocalypse then chooses the fourth knight, a man named Magneto, famous for his extraordinary power of hidden magnetism. We learn about his story. He works as an engineer in a steel factory, is married, and has a daughter. One day at work, a worker falls to the ground. At that moment, Magneto sees the furnace about to fall on the man. He quickly stops the furnace in midair before it falls, shocking his co-workers. Deciding to leave his job, he goes home to pack his belongings. His wife tries to understand what is happening. She goes to their daughter's room but doesn't find her. They go outside to search for her in the forest and find police surrounding their house. holding their daughter captive. The officer declares that they know exactly what happened at the factory. Magneto surrenders to ensure his daughter's safety. Finally, the daughter returns to her mother, screaming for them to release her father. We learn that the daughter has extraordinary powers like her father. She summons a flock of birds to attack the officers. By mistake, an officer fires an arrow, killing the wife and daughter. Magneto rushes to them, holding them and crying. Unfortunately, they both die. Magneto takes the necklace from his daughter's neck and becomes enraged. With one look, he uses the necklace to kill all the officers. The necklace returns to him, now stained with blood. Realizing he will kill more people, he decides to seek revenge. He goes to the factory, locks all the doors to prevent the workers from escaping, and prepares to kill them. At that moment, a strange portal appears behind him. He turns to see Apocalypse and his 3 knights, but Magneto is indifferent to them. So Apocalypse approaches Magneto and warns him to stay away. Suddenly, Apocalypse's eyes turn white, and he buries all the workers underground. He then asks Magneto to join the Horsemen, to which Magneto agrees. They travel through the strange, magical portal to the concentration camp, the place where Magneto first discovered his extraordinary powers. We see Magneto recalling his painful childhood memories, which completely change his mindset. He says that remembering everything that happened to him as a child won't benefit him in any way. Apocalypse tells him he will benefit from his true abilities. Magneto places his hand on the ground, and at that moment, small pieces of metal gather toward his hand. We hear a strange sound from Magneto as he gathers his extraordinary power, and we see Apocalypse giving him even more power, enabling him to destroy the entire place. At this moment, the mutant school arrives, where Professor Charles is informed that Magneto's wife and daughter have died. She mentions that the site of the incident is filled with the bodies of officers and that ordinary people will not let Magneto escape. She asks Charles for help in searching for Magneto. After much persuasion, Charles agrees and goes with Alex and Havoc to a room where they can see the future. Charles wears the Cerebro helmet, which allows him to locate all the mutants and understand their thoughts. At this moment, he discovers Magneto's location and realizes that Magneto's heart is now filled with hatred and resentment toward all humans because they took everything from him. Magneto declares that he will make humans pay for what they did to his daughter and wife with blood. At that moment, Charles senses something strange and quickly takes control of Magneto's mind. Magneto senses Charles's presence, and Apocalypse uses his power to control Charles's mind as well. Charles is shocked by Apocalypse's extraordinary power. Apocalypse uses Charles's power to control the minds of the soldiers guarding the nuclear missiles, activating the launch keys worldwide. All the missiles are launched into the sky, causing widespread panic among people. Charles orders Havoc to destroy Cerebro. Havoc unleashes his extraordinary power in the form of a laser beam, destroying the entire device. Charles loses consciousness, and the team quickly leaves the room. At that moment, Apocalypse and his 4 horsemen arrive through the portal. Magneto, one of the horsemen, uses his power to pull Charles toward them. Havoc chases after them to rescue Charles. Apocalypse opens another portal, and in an attempt to stop them, Havoc hastily uses his power, accidentally hitting the engine behind the portal. This causes a massive explosion in the room. Time slows down dramatically, and suddenly a man named Quicksilver appears outside the school. He has come looking for Charles. Upon seeing the explosion, we learn that Quicksilver possesses extraordinary powers, including the ability to control time and move at incredible speed. He can also pass through iron walls effortlessly. He rescues the team and takes them out of the school. After saving the students from the school, he notices a girl on the upper floor. He climbs up using the stairs and rescues her and her fish, bringing them out of the school. He goes to the bathroom and saves a boy styling his hair. He also enters a classroom, rescuing the teacher and the remaining students. Quicksilver notices a boy and a girl standing on the school balcony, expressing their love for each other. He throws them into the air to safety. He then goes to the students' dormitory, wraps one boy in a blanket, and throws him out the window. He ties 2 curtains to a tree outside the school and throws the students out the window. Quicksilver uses a table to save 2 frightened students, flying with them out the window. We see the students flying through the air, and then time returns to normal. Most of the students end up in the water, while others land on the curtains. Havoc's brother, Cyclops, who has the ability of night crawling, learns that his brother died in the explosion. At that moment, a helicopter approaches the team. They think it's a medical rescue team, but it turns out to be Officer Stryker. He realizes the team is unprepared to fight and immediately orders his soldiers to fire at them. The weapon emits shockwaves that cause unconsciousness. Stryker captures Mystique and her team, taking them aboard the helicopter. Meanwhile, Jean, Cyclops, and Quicksilver hide from Stryker and his soldiers. The team uses teleportation power inside the helicopter to rescue the rest of the team. However, they discover that the helicopter has a magnetic field that prevents Cyclops from teleporting. At that moment, Jean loses her mental abilities. The helicopter reaches the secret base, where Mystique and her team are imprisoned in a special cell. Stryker is ready to interrogate them to find Charles's location. Suddenly, Charles hears a voice and realizes that this is the end of the world and the beginning of a war against humanity. Apocalypse tells Charles his location. Jean is in trouble because everyone around her has discovered her. We see everyone killing each other, and Jean senses a monstrous creature trapped in a box. The soldiers open the lab door to capture them, but Jean uses her telepathic powers to activate the alarms. At that moment, a large beast escapes from its prison. The beast has been transformed and has lost its memory. When the soldiers see it, they shoot at it, but the bullets have no effect. The beast attacks and kills all the soldiers. When the team sees this, they are shocked and frightened, and the beast wants to flee. After killing all the soldiers, the beast opens the door and escapes. Jean finds the team and frees them. They use their powers to blow up the place where they were imprisoned. The team regroups and decides to rescue Charles. Meanwhile, Apocalypse plans to build a pyramid to take Charles's power and destroy the entire city. He creates a massive storm in the city, gathering everything in one place. Once the storm subsides, Apocalypse appears in front of them. A large pyramid creates a helmet and gives it to Magneto, granting Magneto even greater power. Due to the magnetic force, he is able to destroy everything in the area, and shipping containers move from their places because of the immense magnetic force, which is so strong that it destroys the entire city. Humans believe that if Magneto's arm is removed, his power will weaken, and thus human civilization will end. Meanwhile, Xavier is on a plane traveling to Cairo. When the team sees the city being destroyed, they decide to split into two groups. Quicksilver and Mystique head toward the flying buildings, attempting to reach Magneto, but they fail to enter the barrier due to the magnetic force. Mystique tries to communicate with Magneto, telling him he has another family, not just his wife and daughter. Here we learn that Mystique and Charles are part of his family. Quicksilver and Mystique return to their positions. Magneto recalls his past with Charles and breaks down in tears as he remembers all the memories they shared. Meanwhile, Charles is captured and imprisoned in the pyramid so that a ritual can be performed on him to control the entire world, leaving no one able to defeat him. During the ritual, Cyclops searches for Charles to rescue him. Suddenly, he sees a shadow on the wall, which turns out to be Angel, who tries to stop him from saving Charles. They begin to fight, forcing Cyclops to leave the pyramid. At the same time, the rest of the team continues battling Apocalypse and his horsemen. We see Wolverine fighting Psylocke, and just as she is about to kill him, her strength weakens. He pushes her and throws her onto a tall building before escaping. Back at the pyramid, the ritual on Charles is nearing completion, and his body starts to change. Cyclops manages to defeat Angel and heads to Charles, using his ability to transport him to safety. Cyclops then gathers the rest of the team onto the plane, deciding to retreat. However, Apocalypse's soldiers block their path. Psylocke and Angel jump onto the plane, creating a large hole in it. Jean asks the team to hold on to Cyclops while she uses her telekinetic powers to move the plane and bring it to the ground. Before it crashes, Cyclops uses his ability to transport them far away. Psylocke quickly exits the plane, which crashes and is destroyed. Psylocke grabs onto the building wall to slow her descent, but falls hard to the ground, losing consciousness. In the pyramid, Apocalypse awakens to discover he has not gained any power from Charles and remains the same. He realizes they have saved Charles, becoming furious. Apocalypse exits the pyramid and sees Angel's ghost, blaming him for failing to help and being useless during the transfer process. Apocalypse decides to search for Charles himself, easily locating him due to the mental connection established during the ritual. Quicksilver appears, attacking Apocalypse with his super speed. Apocalypse's eyes turn white as he immobilizes Quicksilver, striking him and breaking his leg. Apocalypse grabs Quicksilver by the head, but Psylocke arrives to kill him. Instead, she strikes Apocalypse, but the blow has no effect. Apocalypse grabs Psylocke by the neck, choking and lifting her off the ground. Suddenly, she transforms, revealing herself to be Mystique in disguise. Apocalypse holds on to her as a threat to force Charles to complete the transfer ritual. Charles complies, intending to save them. However, he remembers the mental connection with Apocalypse and enters his mind, discovering his thoughts. Charles begins to attack Apocalypse mentally, forcing him to release Mystique, who falls unconscious. Charles continues his mental assault, but Apocalypse grabs his hand, growing larger and reversing the situation. He throws Charles against the wall and uses his power to collapse the building around him. Apocalypse advances toward Charles, but Magneto intervenes, hurling metal at him using his magnetic powers. Magneto gathers all the surrounding metal to fight Apocalypse, but Apocalypse resists, trying to destroy and kill them. The team unites using their combined abilities to attack Apocalypse simultaneously. Cyclops fires a laser from his eyes, merging his power with Magneto's. Wolverine rescues Quicksilver and Mystique, assisting them. However, Apocalypse throws Wolverine into a building wall, knocking him unconscious. Apocalypse pins Charles against the wall in their mental battle, pressing him with his massive hand. Suddenly, Jean enters their mental space, with Charles supporting her as she unleashes her full power. She finally destroys Apocalypse in his mind. In the real world, her power only destroys his armor. Magneto seizes the opportunity, attacking again with all the metal around him, severely injuring Apocalypse. Wolverine rescues Cyclops from the rubble. Cyclops removes his glasses, attacking Apocalypse with his full laser strength. Apocalypse tries to escape but is struck by lightning, revealed to be Storm, the fourth horseman. Jean then attacks Apocalypse, using her power to completely destroy him, reducing him to ash. The war ends. Days later, Magneto and Jean rebuild the school. Charles and Magneto part ways once more. Charles appoints Mystique as a trainer for the next generation of mutants with extraordinary abilities, preparing them to face any future threats. This concludes today's movie summary. Stay tuned for more videos and summaries. Goodbye.